In 1974, the Pakistani Constitution declared my sect of Islam as non-Muslim. As a result, we faced harsh persecution sanctioned by the Pakistani government itself. Many members of my community had to flee the country for their own safety. My uncle was one of them. He fled Pakistan to escape the religious persecution and sought asylum here in America. With a master's degree from a Pakistani institution and a high-ranking job at a prestigious bank, it should not have been difficult for him to do well here in America. However, when he reached America, he faced so many barriers in terms of the language and the attitudes of the people around him. And it made it difficult for him to achieve his potential and to do as well as he could have. For many years, he struggled to make ends meet. He worked odd jobs. He started small businesses. He moved very, very frequently, and he never quite attained that American dream that refugees and immigrants are looking for, just as much as those who were born and raised here. So while his story is painful for me to hear, it's not unique. Every year, thousands of refugees cross our borders, seeking only the things that we want for ourselves and our loved ones, peace and prosperity. Unfortunately, refugees face so many barriers. We have to change our most basic ways of thought in order for them and in turn our communities to thrive. So refugees come in from all over the world, 180 countries, and they have so much potential and they bring so much with them. Having worked with refugees, immigrants, and organizations that resettle refugees, I have seen amazing feats accomplished by these people, and I know exactly what they can contribute to our society. My friend Joseph Kim was born in North Korea. Actually, his childhood coincided with the Great Famine of the mid-1990s. And as a result, at one point he was a koshebi, which is a label for orphan beggars, which literally means fluttering swallows, because that's what they do. They flutter through the streets trying to find food, trying to survive. Fortunately for Joseph, through a tremendous amount of luck and hope and courage, he was able to escape North Korea and now resides in safety here in the United States. He has spoken about how initially it was difficult for him to be expected to go to high school in America when he had never finished elementary school in North Korea. However, he had something that my uncle did not. He had a support group, which manifested itself in the form of his foster family and the community around him. And so, with their help, he was able to succeed and eventually thrive. Interestingly, it's the smallest actions which made the biggest difference in Joseph's life. In one particular instance, his foster father offered him the last chicken wing when there wasn't enough to go around. And that seems like such a small instance to us, but to him, it showed him just how much love and support was around him. And it propelled him to work harder, to achieve his goals, and to excel. He has now spoken on the TED stage. He has written a book about his life in North Korea, and he is studying at a college in New York. Now, if that's not inspiring, I don't know what is. We need more people like Joseph Kim in our country, and we need more people like his support group and foster family to envelop these people and help them thrive in their new lives. Because ultimately, the most beautiful thing about our society is that we are an ever-changing organism. Every single individual brings something to the table and alters the very fabric of our society. So when refugees become a part of our communities, we have to realize that our schools are now their schools. Our libraries are their libraries. It's time to stop dividing ourselves up over frivolous matters. They are us now. Our point of origin does not determine our worth as human beings. So now we have to work together as a community and grow together towards a more harmonious future. And just like Joseph, I've come to realize that it's often the smallest of actions that bring about the biggest change. So last year, I shared a link on Facebook for an article for Liberty in North Korea, a nonprofit that I'm heavily involved with that seeks to change the narrative on North Korea as well as rescue and resettle North Korean refugees. Now, several months later, I saw an acquaintance of mine put up a picture of her wearing a tank top from Liberty in North Korea. So I got very excited and I inquired about it. And it turned out that many months before, she had seen my article, she had read it, and it had introduced her to the plight of the North Korean refugees, and she had ended up supporting the cause through buying that tank. I, just by sharing that one little article, had potentially changed the life of a North Korean and changed the mindset of my friends. Likewise, when I was a student here at the University of Texas at Austin, I was very heavily involved in the student chapter, or as we call it, rescue team, of Liberty in North Korea. So initially, when I joined Link, I knew nothing about the human rights abuses going on in North Korea. In fact, I'm a little ashamed to admit, but my only knowledge of North Korea was that it was above South Korea. So, when I heard about the political prison camps and everything that the detainees undergo, I knew I had to do something. And so I joined the rescue team. I very quickly realized that our primary method of fundraising was selling fried Oreos. So if you're a UT student, or if you've been a UT student any time over the past 5 to 6 years, you've probably seen us right outside in front of Gregory Gym selling fried Oreos every single Friday. And over the course of several years, those small $1 to $2 purchases have led to the rescue and resettlement of 10 North Korean refugees. That's incredible. Out of Link's 340 rescue teams around the world, we're the only one who has accomplished that feat thus far. And out of those 10, there were 2 who came to mean a lot to me and my rescue team, a mother and daughter named Haejung and Sue. Haejung and Sue were living in hiding in China when Link found them and safely resettled them into South Korea. It's been years since they've left China, but even now we get updates on their lives, and they have become a part of our lives. In fact, in our rescue team, whenever we were having a difficult day, we kept telling ourselves that this was for Haejung. And it became our rallying cry anytime we had a difficult night, or we spent hours outside in the hot sun making fried Oreos. We would remind ourselves that this was for Haejung and worth the effort. So while we accomplished this amazing feat of rescuing 10 refugees, it ultimately came about because of those small $1 to $2 contributions right here at Gregory Plaza. So while it might have seemed like a small thing to you at the time, every single person who bought a fried Oreo from us contributed to that amazing feat. If you bought a fried Oreo from us, you changed someone's life. We could not have done it without you. So the next time you see a student organization tabling outside, don't be scared to go up and talk to them. With 30 seconds of your time, the shortest amount of time possible, you could potentially better someone's life. I do want to draw attention to the fact that helping refugees isn't just a global issue or a faraway issue. It doesn't just happen in China, in Korea, in Syria. We have thousands of refugees right here in Austin who we can reach out to. So several years ago, working as the outreach coordinator for my local mosque, I encountered a homeless immigrant women and children's shelter right here in Austin, Posada Esperanza. Now, Posada Esperanza welcomed people from all over the world, and since our congregation consisted mainly of immigrants and the children of immigrants, it was a cause we endeared to greatly. And we came to volunteer at the shelter on a regular basis, and in fact, we still do. Oftentimes, we just coordinate amongst ourselves and we make meals for the residents. Sometimes, if one of the residents was facing a particularly difficult situation, we would do what we could to assist her. In one case, there was a lady who was heavily pregnant, but she couldn't afford to buy anything for her child. So we raised the funds, and not only did we donate baby necessities, clothes, and toys, but we set up a nursery for her. However, that wasn't enough for me. I wanted to do more. I came to fall in love with the shelter, the people who ran it, and the people who called it home, albeit temporarily. So at that point in my life, I was in pharmacy school and struggling, and my only joy in life was collecting nail polish. I had about 200 bottles at the time. And then I realized I had a friend who was talented at cutting hair. And there was another member of our congregation who had her own salon. Well, that was enough for us to set up a makeshift spa. And we did just that. We set up a spa day where we offered free manicures and haircuts and eyebrow threading to the residents of the shelter. It wasn't something that altered the course of their lives, but it made a difference. It brought them a lot of joy and happiness. It was a small difference, but a difference nonetheless. It also gave me the opportunity to connect with the women there on a one-on-one basis. I still remember there was this one particular lady who loved nail polish as much as I did. She had a collection as large as mine, and as many supplies as I did. However, she had to leave all of that behind when she fled her home in Central America. So while it wasn't a large deal for me to have to share my collection with her or to want to share my collection with her, to her it meant so much. And in that moment, I could easily place myself in her shoes. I understood exactly why it meant so much to her, because she was just like me. And it's through 1,000 small actions like that with which social change will occur, especially in relation to refugees and our society's perception of them. These days, there's a very negative narrative on refugees being portrayed by the media and our politicians. In fact, over the course of the next year, we are expected to settle 100 to 150 Syrian refugees in the central Texas area. 3 million people fled Syria, and we're expecting to take in a little over 100. Look around you. That's how many people are in this room. Actually, that's how many people move to Austin every single day. We can do better than this. Refugees deserve better than this. So the next time you hear someone berate a refugee, even if it's a politician or someone you know on the street, stand up and voice your own educated opinion. Or go to the Refugee Services of Texas right here on Lamar and volunteer with them. Or better yet, talk to a newly resettled refugee and listen to their story. Not just of their journey here and the hardships they face, but what they are bringing and what they have to contribute to our society. Because ultimately, when they join our community, they are a part of us now. And we have to work together in order to create a stronger and better future for our country, for our communities, and for ourselves. And only then will we be able to grow. Thank you.